The FBI has gotten undeniable proof that Obama-time CIA authorities paid British government operatives to create the Trump-Russia dossier to legitimize wiretapping the Trump battle. As per investigative columnist Cassandra Fairbanks, 3 previous Insight officers accept there is sufficient proof to convict Obama-time authorities for conniving with British intelligence associations, keeping in mind the end goal to subvert American majority-rule government. TheGetawayPundit.com reports, the previous officers disclosed to the Gateway Pundit. The UK's Joint Intelligence Committee was the scene utilized by the CIA and the DNI to share and get knowledge professedly connecting Trump to Russia. The sources trust that John Brennan and James Clapper utilized profoundly characterized insight channels to make a trail of phony proof connecting Trump to Russia. George Papadopoulos was focused on purposely by UK intel agents in a plot to deceive him. It was Joseph Mifsud, not Papadopoulos, who raised the possibility of meeting with the Russians and presented the claim that Russia had harming data about Hillary Clinton. Joseph Mifsud was a British agent, not a Russian resource. The main element that could have facilitated the whole task was the Obama White House. Various previous knowledge officers accept there is unquestionable confirmation that British intelligence associations, GCHQ and MI6 specifically, teamed up with the U.S. Insight Group to depict Donald Trump and his partners as pawns of the Russians. As per one of the previous knowledge officers who addressed the Gateway Pundit, this was an upset endeavor without guns, depending rather on made insight intended to encourage the image that Trump surrogates were in contact with the Russians. The previous knowledge officers concurred that the UK's Joint Intelligence Committee was the scene utilized by the CIA and the DNI to share and get insight purportedly connecting Trump to Russia. The Gateway Pundit addressed the 2 previous Insight officers on the state of secrecy due to the affectability of the issue. We furthermore addressed Bill Binney, a previous abnormal state national security agency official turned informant, who affirmed that he concurs with their decisions. The previous knowledge officers trust that John Brennan and James Clapper utilized very characterized insight channels to make a trail of phony proof connecting Trump to Russia. In light of their times of involvement in the Insight Group, including abroad tasks, it shows up exceptionally likely that Joseph Mifsud was a MI6 resource and that his part inside the British covert agent benefit was purposely clouded to give the presence of him working for Russia. Different sources report that British intel organizations were included effectively in gathering data on Trump partners and their contacts with people connected to Russia. As per The Guardian, England's covert agent organizations assumed a critical part in alarming their partners in Washington to contacts between individuals from Donald Trump's battle group and Russian insight agents. GCHQ first wound up mindful in late 2015 of suspicious communications between figures associated with Trump and known or suspected Russian specialists, a source near UK Insight said. This knowledge was passed to the US as a feature of a normal trade of data, they included. The New York Times additionally affirmed, referring to 3 previous senior U.S. authorities, that the United Kingdom was gathering insight on gatherings in European urban areas between Russian authorities, and others near Russia's leader, Vladimir V. Putin, and partners of President-elect Trump. Also, those same 3 authorities affirmed that American knowledge offices had captured interchanges of Russian authorities, some of them inside the Kremlin, examining contacts with Trump partners. The previous U.S. knowledge officers, who know about the tasks and exercises of the JIC, noticed that such trades of data are definitely not standard. The CIA's chief of station routinely meets with the JIC and fills in as a channel for correspondence between the CIA director and the UK. For the most part, data got from caught discussions or messages would be passed as SIGINT and regularly would be named top secret compartmented knowledge. The CIA's London Chief of Station, COS, or their senior knowledge expert presented on the London International Safe Haven would go to week after week JIC gatherings, as per one of the sources. At time, the cause was Gina Haspel, who is currently the chief of the CIA. These Intel Group insiders trust that the instance of George Papadopoulos, a minor authority named to the Trump Remote Approach Group on March 21, 2016, merits extra investigation since it indicates confirmed that Papadopoulos was focused on purposely by UK intel agents in a plot to deceive him into imparting data about conceivable ways to deal with Russia by means of discussions with people in the United States. In the statement of offense recorded against Papadopoulos by the U.S. Bureau of Justice, he is blamed for lying about his contact with Joseph Mifsud, a Maltese representative who was an individual from the European Council on Foreign Relations and the Clinton Foundation. It was Mifsud, not Papadopoulos, who raised the possibility of meeting with the Russians and presented the claim that Russian had harming data about Hillary Clinton. Papadopoulos thusly handed off this data by means of messages and telephone gets back to individuals from the Trump crusade. Despite the fact that the FBI guarantees that Papadopoulos' messages were recouped by means of a legitimately acquired court order, there is almost certainty that the data was at that point in the hands of the UK. What's more, the US Inside Group. The reports spilled by Edward Snowden in 2013 show absolutely that such discussions were blocked and held by both the GCHQ and the NSA. Getting material for arraignment from inside sources that will be permitted into a court continuing is known as parallel development. Ray McGovern and I were feeling that the entire connivance about the Russian account was devised by Brennan and afterward in all probability endorsed by Obama. This is the thing that I revealed to Pompeo when I was in with him. It requires the NSA, CIA, FBI, DNI, DNC and the DOJ to arrange, particularly for things like the Steele dossier. Just a single place they all meet up and can be requested to organize and collaborate is the president, which was Obama. The DOJ doesn't fall under the DNI or any other person, just the president, Benny revealed to the Gateway Pundit. These brings up intense issues that require answers. Who settled on the underlying choice to gather data on Trump associates? What number of ordered SIGINT reports were sent to the U.S. Intel Group? At the point when did John Brennan and James Clapper share this data with President Obama?